So Tales of Zestiria, aside from its gameplay, suffered because of how it handled its story. It wasn't terrible per se, but it seemed to be missing key moments and points. So naturally, when Zestiria the Cross, yes that means cross, not the actual letter X, was announced, we were half unsure of what to expect, but also half hoping that perhaps Ufotable could save this story and make it into the epic tale it was always meant to be. What we got? Spoilers beware. Not that you'll really care. So the anime's mostly the same in the beginning, minus that new prologue showing how Alicia was fucking traumatized and then wound up in Elysia, along with a couple episodes detailing the beginning of Velvet's story and Tales of Berseria, because it boosts sales. Anyways, the real changes start once we head to Roland's with Rose. See, unlike in the game, Rose is unsure about what she's doing, how she's killing for the greater good. This escalates when she learns that Prince Conan, the man who murdered her adopted father Brad and many of her friends, is nearby and she goes in for the kill. Afterwards, she becomes Soray's squire to try and redeem herself, and we then find a dragon skeleton in Pendrago because potatoes, and then return to Highland because more potatoes. Once there, we fight a dragon, meet the king, witness the universe's hatred for Alicia firsthand. Farewell! Can this girl not catch a break? And also Bartlow dies. Okay. But once Lady Lake is safe, Simone warns us that Heldolf is heading to the Northern Lands because... Actually, I'm not even sure she knows why she's telling us this.
What do I want?
Fucking cup out. So the fam heads north, Alicia armatizes for the first time, we stop by Mershio, if you've played Berseria, you'll remember this, and then head to Mount Killerhouse to battle Heldolf. Soray becomes the ultimate magical girl, goes into slumber to purify him, and all is well as the anime goes full-ish gay. And what the fuck just happened? So the thing is, I don't hate this anime. I actually appreciate a lot of the changes they made, like with Soray armatizing in the Lady Lake Sanctuary, Micleo armatizing with Soray in Marland, and especially Alicia learning of Rose being an assassin and them getting to fight together against General Landon. The first half is actually really good in my eyes, and had me excited for the second half, which is why I'm so frustrated. If you're looking for an alright anime experience, then you'll probably enjoy this. But if you're a fan of the game, buckle up, cause we're about to dive headfirst into the shallow end. Thing is, if we were to go into all the details at once, we'd be here forever, so instead we're gonna cover the major changes as different sections and discuss how I view them. So, let's get this over with. This is the thing that I feel the anime really did justice. In the game, Alicia was marketed as the main heroine, even though we all know it was really Micleo, only for Alicia to be kicked out of the group about 10 hours in. Here, Alicia is still relevant to the plot when Soray and Rose head to Roland's. She's fighting Bartlow and the corruption in Lady Lake, and we even get to see her relationship with her father, who I'm very shocked wasn't slowly being poisoned by Bartlow. Some have had issue with Alicia armatizing, but I feel the girl has fucking earned it. Especially given how her DLC epilogue was just pure crap, Alicia's earned a spot in the final battle, and the right to armatize, even if her resonance could use some work. The one problem I have with her arc is that Maltran is no longer a Hellion working under Heldolf, but we'll get there later. Now onto the second or third heroine. Here's where I kind of have an issue. See, Game Rose and Anime Rose are two totally different characters. Game Rose believes she was doing the right thing by killing those who hurt the innocent, and never apologized for it. Meanwhile, Anime Rose questions herself and seeks to redeem herself by becoming Soray's squire. And I don't really like that. See, Rose being an assassin makes her a great foil for Soray, especially with her being pure of heart like him. It's interesting to see how their different philosophies clash with each other, but never stops them from being best buds or fighting alongside one another. Anime Rose isn't bad per se, but I definitely prefer Game Rose. I do like her going after Conan for revenge though. I wish that plot was present in the game. And speaking of Conan, so in the game, we never met the royal families of either Highland or Roland's. It was said that both countries had young rulers, but here they're both old men. I do remember Alicia being said to have many siblings closer to the throne at some point, though none were mentioned or seen in the game, and in the anime, she's an only child. Anyways, I like the addition of Conan and the Blue Storm Knights into the plot. My problem lies with how they're handled. In the game, we had to fight Cardinal Runette Forden, the leader of the Church of Roland's. She chased off Pope Macedra and wanted to declare war on Highland. So it would kinda make sense for her to be keeping that dragon skeleton in the church to boost the malevolence instead of just randomly sitting there. Not only that, but Conan's involvement in the elixir trade would have worked well with the plots of Fortin and Messedra. Okay, so Messedra fled to the mountain village of Gadadin, where he became Chief Slenge. There, he created a fake elixir to help Gadadin's poverty problem. This elixir became very popular in Rollins, and was pretty much the only thing keeping Rollins from going to the village and murdering him. What would have been neat to see is Gasparo Leno, the religious leader of Lastinbel that Rose accuses of stealing from the citizens and then killing those who know too much, including a good friend of hers, be framed by the Cardinal and work as a red herring. In reality, Fortin and Conan were working together to seize power and turn the Empire into a theocracy, with the Blue Storm Knights as unknowing accomplices. So in the game, Serain needed to pass several trials to gain enough power to fight back against Heldolf. These trials were meant to give him the blessings of 4 of the 5 lords. They could have provided great development for the characters with some tweaks to the existing story, but instead they were completely cut. And speaking of the 5 lords, here's the thing. They're not Empyreans. In the past, they were called Empyreans, but since then it's become known that they are merely high-ranking Seraphim. My main problem is that the 5 lords aren't mentioned at all till the very end of the anime, and even then, they've got nothing to do with the main plot. I'm not even sure why Maltellus and Heldolf are fighting. I like the flashback having Heldolf and Michael be friends, since it makes the betrayal even more knife-twisting. But when that happened, Maltellus became a Hellion, spreading malevolence even further. He bonded with Heldolf when he became a Lord of Calamity, presumably because Heldolf reminded Maltellus of a certain someone. But here, Maltellus doesn't act like a Hellion at all. It's just, what? Why is he even here? I'll touch on more of the Innominat thing later. Oh boy. I don't mind the whole journey to the north. I would have preferred them keeping the final battle at Artorias' throne, namely because Mount Killerhouse is a life spring while the throne is a life pool, namely spreading malevolence would have been easier through the earth pulse at the throne than the volcano. That, and it'd be finishing the Age of Chaos where it began. But I do like how many dragons there are here, and I like that the Scarlet Night occurs. I'd like us visiting the town of Mershio and meeting Grimoire. Not much to comment here, I just figured I'd be nice to the anime for just a moment. So this is where I get just a little upset. Dragons cannot be purified. Maltellus' flames of purification might be able to purify most Hellions, but never a dragon. I didn't mind it as much with Serain purifying the Lady Lake dragon since the Seraph still died. The malevolence around him just burned away. But the thought of Aizen returning to normal... No. Aizen had a chance to change his fate long ago, but he refused to because it would go against his beliefs. He prepared himself for this a long time ago. Not to mention there was this pretty good post-game mission where Edna had to accept that they had to kill Aizen to free him from his curse, but this just robs her of any interesting moment she could have had, which the anime seems to like doing to our main cast. Also, I laughed my ass off at Aizen going, "I'm a horrible person, deal with it." So like I said, season 1 was really good, but season 2... no. It just drags itself out for so long and then rushes to finish everything. It makes no sense for the dragon skeleton to be in the shrine church without anyone putting it there. Conan is just a random antagonist who appears out of nowhere, the Blue Storm Knights don't even matter. Ugh, this is what really kills the anime for me, if you couldn't tell. Of all the characters put through the shredder, Edna is the most egregious case. Egregious meaning bad, not good. She wasn't all that relevant to the plot before, but imagine if we had to fight Aizen on the journey to the north. That'd be a great moment for her, but nope, she's kept on the back burner. At least she got to have some of her bantering with Mikleo.
Well, they're idiots.
Bunch of morons.
Absolute fools.
We're actually agreeing on something.
You're agreeing with me. Get it straight, Meebo.
Lila's just not Lila. I'll give her this. They try to make her a badass, but in the game, she was the fun group mom who was burdened with what happened to Michael. She wanted to tell Saray the truth about certain events, but couldn't because of her oath, and it aided her. Not to mention her wacky randomness made her all the more charming, and in the anime, it's just completely gone. Maven should just not be here. Everyone is just chill with him being over 100 years old. Meanwhile, in the game, it was a huge secret. He was the storyteller of time, meaning he recorded the world's events from a distance. He's the one who showed us the Camelon flashback, and he died in the process. In the anime, He's existent, and then vanishes altogether. Simone just makes no goddamn sense. In the game, she's what's called an Angel of Death, also known as a Reaper. Angels of Death are seraphim who bring misfortune to those around them. Dazzle is one such Angel of Death. Simone was desperate to find a purpose as such, and found it in Heldolf's mission to destroy the world. In the anime, she just tells us Heldolf's plan because... I don't know, we just needed some kind of plot device to send us north. And then she becomes a dragon and vanishes. Wonderful. I kinda like what they tried to do with Lunar. In the game, he really was just completely pointless, whereas in the anime, it seemed they tried to have him be interested in how people can resist malevolence in such a dark world. He's not evil per se, just very crazy and curious. The problem is the way he's written. It doesn't come across all that well, so when he dies, it's eh. And Maltran. Oh boy. So in the game, Maltran's actually a Hellion working under Heldolf. She despised Alicia's soft-heartedness and wanted to plunge the world into darkness. She also planned to kill her, thus plunging Saray into despair and malevolence. It's never really explained why Maltran was this way, but that could have been fun to explore. Certain scenes in the first season especially could have been easily tweaked to hint at her true nature. It's just a very interesting foil for Alicia that was tossed away. Tales games are incredibly fun, especially in their skits. Comedy is a staple of the series that makes us care for the characters. The anime seems to take itself so seriously, most of the humor is just gone. Not all of it, but it's been removed to the point where the anime is just not fun or enjoyable. This is a problem I also had with the Symphonia OVAs when I tried to watch them, but maybe revisiting them will change my mind. Berseria has nothing to do with Zestiria. You wanna know why we had 2 episodes of Velvet Season 1? Why we kept talking about Velvet, Artorias, and Innominat throughout the anime? Because they were trying to get people excited for Tales of Berseria. A noble goal, but they don't tie in all that well with Zestiria's story. Velvet and Saray's journeys could be such great parallels, but instead it comes across as contrived and, hey, did you know Berseria exists? Did you know it goes on sale in a little while? Buy it. It's hard to cover every detail of all this without turning the video into a several-hour-long raving of a madman, but I feel 2 things I wrote quite a while ago sum everything up quite well. The first is an old article I wrote over on my blog about all the changes the anime made from the game, and the other is a Tumblr post I wrote, which I shall read because why not? It's kinda like you're performing surgery, and the patient has had small but very vital organs torn out. The doctor puts those organs back in, but then rips out about half the organs that were already there, and says the surgery's done. And that's Zestiria the Cross. Fucking truth. So all in all, Zestiria the Cross is meh. It had a lot of potential and did a pretty solid job in its first half with adapting the existing story and even improving parts of it. But the second half is a train wreck. It cuts so much of the existing material and eviscerates it. The only truly amazing thing I'd say this anime has going for it are its intros and outros, as well as its gorgeous animation. But that's kind of the standard with Ufotable. I normally say it's time for a traditional funny moments section, but as we've discussed, this anime killed the joy of the game in its crib, so fuck it. Enjoy the review? Glad to hear it. Want to murder me to release your anger, then sacrifice me to the internet gods? Hit the dislike button. It's still interaction. I'll be doing a review on Tales of Zillion next Friday, so be on the lookout for that. I'm also publishing a book this year, so if you could check out the synopsis of first chapter in the description below, I'd really appreciate it. I've also started a Patreon, so if you'd like to become one of my children, the link is also in the description. I'm the Unicorn of War, and this has been a shit show.